Hello, welcome back one and all for the final time of the day. We have one more game. We've got a lot of best of twos that we've had taken place here on the Academy stream, as well as over on Nerd Street LOL, where we had two other ones casted by the wonderful Kangas and Cubby. But here we have our final game of the evening, and it is between FlyQuest Academy, who took a convincing game one over Counter Logic Academy. So let's break down that game a little bit more, Crumbs, before we hop into our second one.
All right, if we break it down from the start, it looked like CLG was going to have the Renekton and the Udyr as some of the picks that have been mostly banned. And so we thought, oh, well, everybody's been prioritizing these picks. What could they possibly do with them? They got ahead, out to a hot start, but then it all collapsed when the Kindred started to get kills across the map. She was behind in farm, but then once she got ahead, you had the Lulu back her up, and then it just took off from there. It was not close at all. It ended up being 18-3, the final score from FlyQuest taking down CLG, which just goes to show you that that was a well-executed snowball.
I think one of those 3 kills was when Kumo dived the fountain as well. So it just shows you how convincing that game was out of FlyQuest Academy. Like you said, once they were able to get that Kindred online, the 4 stacks onto her passive, that's when she became a champion. That's when they were able to completely run rampant with the double support to double 80 carry composition out of FlyQuest. It seemed like CLG just didn't have the answers necessary. So when we look at these replays, you can see early on, CLG were doing fine. It's just once the team fight started, especially when they started in full earnest, that they just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, this is where it was going really well for CLG, when it looked like they knew what to do, where they were winning a strong 2v2 in the top side. Love this, right? Just keep the Kindred stunned, deny the camps, shut down Kumo by a little bit, but then in this big fight, this was what blew the game wide open. It already is a 4v3 or 4v5 on the side of CLG, but because RJS is split off, he just gets picked off, and the Kindred and Lulu just took him apart. Syndra is so integral to the composition. Everyone else just dogpiled onto the rest of the team, and they could not do anything about it. This was just too much for CLG to handle, because once the Kindred and the Lulu got too strong to burst down, it just became way too difficult for them to finally engage. And they're so confident in how easily they were to win these fights that Tomo just kept looking for these opportunities. The Ashe got picked on time and time again, could find nothing to do on the map, and then just, I hope we get the sequence actually. I hope we see just how high feet Kumo went here.
Oh, I hope so too, because this is one of those plays I'd love to see where you're just like, all right, like, there it is, boom, got it. Do I do it? Yeah, I do it.
I like how Katsuri's like, I am not blocking that. If I get hit by that, I die too. Threads the needle for the Alistar 2. Heals from the Gore Drinker. Just a really nice play out of Kumo there. And this was the last fight, I believe. No, we actually got more. We need to die a few more times, because it was 18, the final score.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think it's here where they just kind of like play it passively, wait it out, and then boom, right after that, they're able to explode, win this game, and only Keel was alive, since he's like, I don't know what you want me to do here. There's very little I can do in this fight.
Yeah, and, well, that's what happens when Udyr doesn't really get to do much in the game. He's not an engager. He's not the main engager. He needs a team to follow up, and when everybody else fell behind, it wasn't close. There were some glimmers of hope, but maybe we're going to see the trend develop over the course of the best stuff, just the 2-game stomps. We don't know, at least I don't know how the other matches in the other stream have been going, if they have been these 2-0 shutouts. But thus far, that's been the trend. So I'm putting my eggs on the FlyQuest basket for now, because they came out swinging in this first series.
And they look so clean.
I'm looking it up too now.
Yeah, I like how we both have our other monitor. We're like, oh, what is it? I don't see it yet. Maybe it's in Discord. Anyway,
we're both 1-1s.
Hey, Kangas and Cubby, maybe they have a little bit of an aura.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, no.
Never mind. I got confused. They're all 2-0s.
Oh, okay. So we've only had 2-0s thus far in Academy. But, maybe we'll see a change coming in from CLG. Maybe they're going to be able to figure out what went wrong in that last game. I feel like when we look at Renekton as a champion, and usually as a pick, what is he normally paired off with? Is it Udyr?
Now, no,
Oh.
it's the Nidalee. It's
Right.
the
Where
Nidalee.
was that? Where was it?
I don't know. They didn't want to give up the Udyr Lee Sin. That's what they're afraid of, right? They didn't want to give that up. But you gotta count on your own strategy. You gotta know what's good for you. So if you don't want to play that combination, if you're afraid of it, you don't give it up. You ban it. Maybe that's why Renekton's been banned so much. But even at MSI, the Renekton was paired with the Nidalee. You gotta have an AP combo for him. Otherwise, he just looks goofy because he has these gap closers that go really well with mages that have longer engages and different kinds of mixed damage. But when you have Udyr who's just trying to run at somebody, when it comes to a team fighting stage, they're no longer giga buffed and not nerfed to the point where they can actually just run past the damage and tank you and still kill you. They require much more finesse. That's where the fine tuning in the composition must be considered before you draft them again.
And it feels like they thought maybe the Syndra would be able to fill that gap left by not getting the Nidalee, but unfortunately RJS just wasn't able to do as much as he would have liked to. In the laning phase, he was able to fully triple, but that only lasted so long until finally at NXI being able to show up into these fights, and you didn't have the proper burst necessary to take down Kindred before they were able to use Lamb's Respite and be able to then throw that damage right back in your face.
The closest attempt to play around RJS was that first gank. Udyr flashing over the wall, but barely missed it. Didn't have the Phoenix stance instantly available to actually kill the Lulu, and that could have maybe swung the game entirely if RJS could have bullied his way to more gold on the Syndra. Who knows? But that's only for a review. For now, though, I think that they can just think, hey, let's make sure that we play around the champions that not only are best at setting us up, but are actually going to be the most relevant to winning against the enemy's composition. Notice in the previous games how much the teams played around the Nautilus. Nautilus is always finding you fights, so it's so easy to play around him. So because the Syndra is going to be what allows you to win against these ranged compositions, you play around her, you make sure she's strong. I want to see CLG implement that.
Well, I was about to say, who was missing in the last draft? It was Nautilus. Nautilus was completely overlooked in both pick and ban, and we had been seeing all throughout the day that Nautilus has this high priority placed upon his head. Well, CLG could have grabbed that. They grabbed Alistar instead. I feel like the Nautilus might have been a bit better just to help out with the fight. Maybe not necessarily for the laning phase, but you're using it to be able to find those picks.
I think they might have thought too much about the draft and try to big brain it by taking the Alistar, because the Alistar can punt people out of the Kindred ultimate. But when you watch Alistar versus Kindred, how many times does that actually happen? Right? Half the time when the Kindred is getting punted out or anybody's getting punted out, it's because the fight is already so one-sided that the Alistar can make that combo happen. If you actually watch the Kindred versus Alistar interaction, by the time you're comboed and you're dropped down, he doesn't have that headbutt available again to knock you out of the ultimate. So you're sacrificing the entire early lane for the off chance of having an interaction that is rare. So I think they need to put a bigger priority on making sure that they just have a good laning phase, which they didn't have, and then a good way to start the fight versus getting cute with the Kindred ultimate.
See, I would even make the argument, if you're that focused on to be able to pump people out, get Grog as support at that rate. That way you can actually use the explosive cast to knock everyone out of Lamb's Respite as opposed to just one person. But we'll have to see how this draft is going to go. Of course, Diamond never allowed a Thresh. Anyone who lets him have Thresh is a fool and thinks that they can beat him. You can't. I've seen it many times. It's not going to work. And so going into this one, Lee Sin finally getting banned by FlyQuest. They just don't want that to be first picked.
Yeah, they recognize how valuable it was, that game. Kumo showed proficiency at it. They don't want to see if RJS or TN can actually do the same on it. And frankly, I'm glad of it. I know that the meme was for Udyr, that he had low skill expression and that people got tired of seeing him. But even the pick like Lee Sin, at this point, I'm tired of seeing the kicks. I'm not here watching kickboxing. I want to see the full spectrum of combat. So get rid of it. It's great. Kindred also getting banned.
Alberto, are you going to tell me you didn't like seeing Kumo use that Sonic Wave when he had no right to go in, goes in, gets the 2 kills, and somehow survives?
Oh, I do. But That's a fraction in the moment of glory for Lee Sin. I don't want to watch him wave clear anymore. That's my problem. He's just sitting there tempesting away, shielding nonstop and sustaining himself. Tired of it. Give us something more. Fatal sticks. We want more of what Schernfire was up to. And no more Kindred for NXI either. So at least we're getting some variety.
Well, with the Udyr being the final ban by FlyQuest Academy, we still get that Renekton locked in immediately by Tien into that top lane. But look at that. Nocturne Rumble going to be the answer on the other side. I was expecting to be that Rumble and Nautilus. Pretty much the staples that we've seen throughout the day. But here, they just get themselves the Rumble and that Nocturne to be able to go in with it. That is a lot of aggressive tendencies that are now being flexed here by FlyQuest Academy.
All right, CLG, you've seen this story a million times. You need to deny the Nautilus. It is coming out 100% from FlyQuest, all right?
You got Kaisa?
Take a combo. Come on.
Come on. Come on. We're not gonna give any commentary until we see what this is. Come on, Nautilus. Nautilus. No! That's not Nautilus!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm waiting.
They're really giving this up again.
I'm waiting. That's not Nautilus!
No! Oh, okay. All right. Insta-lock right now. Nautilus, FlyQuest.
Yeah, that's like it should be at least if they've been paying attention to what the meta on 11-11 is and how powerful the combination of both Rumble and Nautilus is in tandem with one another. I'd expect to see that locked in for Diamond. Diamond does like Thresh a bit more than he likes that Nautilus, but just the fact that that combination works so damn well is what I'd expect. But, hey, you know what? They're not going for it. They're locking in Xayah.
Maybe they really like the Rakan instead. He had a good game on it. He did.
Well, I do know Diamond likes his aggressive supports. He loves Rakan because it's something that can really easily engage into the back line and be able to set up a lot of the fights. But Nautilus does that as well, and that's the only reason why I'm a little iffy on what we are seeing thus far. Not saying the Nautilus grabbed in by hooks, even though his namesake would lead you to think otherwise. And then also not seeing that out of Diamond here when it's a perfect angle to do so. Instead, they grab Xayah, trying to see if maybe they can force out that ban of the Rakan here from CLG, since that you have to at least take that away, right?
Well, they're banning away other supports, so it's curious, right? Because he's going to have, at the very least, Rakan or Nautilus. So he's going to have his pick of whatever support he wants. So it's not like there's going to be much, not a lot of value out of this. So I think that right now the CLG angle should be a Fiddlesticks again. A Fiddlesticks in the jungle. It's going to be good into a lot of what FlyQuest has already. The atomization works against the Nocturne with your stopwatch. What's up?
You just want to see Fiddlesticks again.
I do.
Is that the real? I think that's the real. I think that's the real thing here. It's not about whether it's good or not. You just want to see it again, and that's fine. I respect that because I'm the same.
Yes, he's fun. He's a fun champion.
Yes, he's a lot of fun.
When he succeeds, it's exciting, and when he fails, you kind of laugh. It's like, oh, I guess it kind of failed, but it was fun to watch him try to go in and have ultimates that work or not. But the CLG bans are just cornering Diamond into Braum.
Not Nautilus. There it is. Okay, thank you.
There it is.
Oh,
No!
whoa. The last minute Swapperino onto Serafino. That's an interesting pick, and it makes me wonder whether or not that's going to be for Diamond or whether that's going to be for Triple instead.
Right? It could be for Triple, for sure.
Oh, they're giving you what you want. Look at that. They're hovering it.
That's what we want. We asked for it.
Oh, baby! They did it!
It's going to be good. It's exactly what they needed to start the fight. Now, yes. Yes. Now we're talking.
Well, I think we're just having more fun with this. We're not even like giving commentary and like trying to break down what's happening. We're just enjoying. Oh, okay.
I'll take the Jace.
I'll take the Jace. But the Fiddlesticks, I like this pick here with this composition. The Nidalee's banned away. Morgana's taken away. You need AP threat from your jungle, especially if you're trying to look for RJS on to either Renekton or Jace here. You need to make sure you're getting something that's going to be able to do a lot. And like you said before, Fiddlesticks is able to enact a lot of his pressure on his own. He's not like Rumble, who's reliant on his team.
Not at all. Fiddlesticks can be the party, the guests, and the desserts. He's got everything all in one. And the fact that
Okay.
you have all this physical damage just makes him that much stronger, because the atomization will really be difficult for FlyQuest, who have come up with a hodgepodge of a composition that just wants to dive in, do a ton of damage. It's not the Nautilus, but it's the Seraphine, which has been away from the meta for quite some time. I don't think anyone was looking forward to bringing her back, but it seems like Diamond has just never put her away.
Then again, you also have to remember that it works really well with what they have. They need something that's going to be able to give them a lot of long-range engage with the help of Encore, but then the shields and the heals that she provides for the team, especially once you get that Moonstone Renewer, you get the Staff of Flowing Water, you're going to be able to buff these members that are trying to dive deep into the enemy territory. Wukong, Nocturne, even the Rumble needs something to help them out a little bit more when you have to deal with the high threat damage that is being laid out upon you by CLG Academy.
And you can also be healing from that high damage, right? RJS's poke can be fed off by the Seraphine, so it does make Jace's job a little bit harder when his poke just doesn't stick. It has to be combined with Keel's engage. You have to just go all in right there and take them out, or else, well, they're just going to stay at full HP, and then you're not going to be able to deal with it, because we know what happens when Seraphine gets off and just becomes an absolute menace. We're going to go in game and see exactly what happens when Jace meets his nightmares of Nocturne in the mid lane.
Yeah, but what about the Nightmare's Nightmare in Fiddlesticks? Aha, see what I did there. But anyways, it's looking at this, I already am rooting for CLG just on the merits of picking Fiddlesticks. But also, I look at these compositions and what they have, and I talked about how the Seraphine is going to help a lot when it comes to these skirmishes and these team fights out of FlyQuest. But on the other side, CLG Academy, you talked about the poke that they can provide, that they're going to have pretty good siege. And then when you add in the threat of a Fiddlesticks and how he's going to be able to find these creative angles to be able to jump into the back line, it's not like previously when we saw the Twisted Fate try to be the answer to be able to spot him out. There is going to be little answer unless you're immaculate with your warding to find his position.
Yeah, and the answer they can have at the very least is that some of these members are going to be kind of tanky. They're not the squishy mid laners that can just be instantly popped. The Nocturne and the Wukong can survive a bit longer, and that can be the difference between actually living through a Fiddlesticks ultimate long enough to turn things around and just dying. Just having that little bit of extra health can make all the difference. Or even that spell shield, so you don't get instantly feared.
In the bot lane, we are getting a little bit of traded blows. Expected from the double range and a melee support. Always usually happens. But top lane, Kumo, Tian, getting a good trade of damage. Kumo actually winning out a little bit more handedly there with the help of that Conqueror. Tian was a bit too threatened by Wukong and how much damage he took early on.
The level 1 Wukong is one of the more annoying champions for melees, because not only does he have the gap closer, but the auto attack reset is really nasty. And then the attack speed. He's really quick at charging up those Conqueror stacks. And so oftentimes people just have to respect him so much, even if they are a Renekton, especially going with that Doran's Blade. So looks like he's looking for it again, but Renekton's no slouch to getting harassed early and sustaining in the lane. He's already having his Fury charge and will be looking to turn things around.
Getting a lot of damage there, but like you said, also Wukong getting a good trade of damage back. The help of the Doran shield, Makin's not too threatened. You can always reset, wait it out a little bit to heal back up to not full, but near full. And maybe be able to contend a little bit more.
Oh!
Okay. Tomo had to flash it a little bit early there to be able to stay alive. Didn't have to use the heal, but that is big out of Hooks to already get a flash out of the ADC.
I think he thought that Tomo had used feathers to aggro the turret, but here the junglers just cross paths.
Yeah, gonna be fear, and that's a Hex Flash in from Hooks, looking to see if he can get the knockup onto Diamond, but Diamond not too threatened. Throws it right back in the face of Hooks with the Flame Spitter First Blood for FlyQuest.
Just not respecting that Tomo and Diamond were going to be able to lock him down. Just staying too far up, not realizing that NXI would just be able to walk up. Yeah, he was a level down over Keel, but Keel is not a big threat at this stage in the game. And so FlyQuest get a nice and easy kill from the bot lane, and they're already dominating the CS department. This is all too similar to last game, yet it's happening sooner than it did before.
It's going to be tricky now for CLG Academy. They need to make sure that they're not falling too far behind, because this is going to be one of the snowball compositions out of FlyQuest, trying to see if they can utilize this Wukong and Nocturne, how great they are at skirmishing. And this is why you see Hooks rotating elsewhere, trying to see if maybe they can hit the source of a global or semi-global in this Nocturne, but unfortunately just falling short and not able to find much.
Yeah, so I don't know what just happened, but Keel, I think, just flashed in the brush. His flash is down.
Oh, that's a little awkward. And now RJS, feared, flashed away. The flash coming in from Diamond. Flamespitter takes another kill, this time mid lane. Keel trying to get away with the help of Hooks. But like you said, that I don't know where the flash went for Keel, but we know what happened to RJS. His flash did nothing.
So I think that what happened was, because Alistar and Fiddlesticks were gathering behind Triple, Keel was supposed to flash behind Triple over the Raptor Wall, fear him, and then that would move Triple closer to the lane so that Hooks can Hex Flash over and headbutt combo him. But because he failed the flash, then the Alistar Hex Flash looked silly.
If we get to see that replay, I would love to see if we can see that angle in from Keel, because I think you're right. That sounds about accurate. We're just seeing where Keel was, where Hooks was, could have been the reasoning behind it all. Because right now, Yan and Keel, they were threatening a dive onto Kumo into the top lane, but the fact that NXI was nearby, it is going to make it so the dive isn't going to happen just yet. Keel's still only level 4. He needs to be able to get that Crow Storm when he's really going to feel his most powerful.
A good communication out of Kumo to call for help there, because that really would have been dangerous if he went down this early on to the Renekton, who's already winning his lane, having a grand old time, as he should be, as Renekton's laning phase is one of his most feared stages in the game. Still a wave, though, but I think Tomo's
familiar.
dead.
Yeah, this feels a little familiar with the heals and shields coming in from Diamond, trying to keep Tomo alive. The flash in from Katsuri to be able to take a kill this time. They're able to find Tomo.
Neither of these AD carries seem like they respect each other or their supports. They just keep going in and getting comboed down. Let's see, Keel. Oh, thank you so much, observers.
Let's see. Oh, no. It's exact. Hey, you know he gave the thumbs up, okay. But it's exactly as he said. It's just the fail flash, unfortunately. That's exactly what they were angling for.
Ah, the thumbs up. All right. Good self-awareness out of Keel. I respect that.
It's just unfortunate because without that flash, that fear, that would have worked out. Like you said, Hooks was channeling the Hex Flash. That was what they were hoping for. They lose RJS in that mid lane. They lose a lot in momentum across the map. And here, with every lane pretty much now pushing back in except for bot lane, CLG, they don't really have much that they can fight for. I'm trying to think where they might be able to utilize what's level 6, that Crow Storm. But if you lose RJS like this, well, I don't know where anywhere you're going to be able to show up.
Keel stealing Diamond, but the Seraphine is always going to be a menace. Happy to take that gold and start building up towards her Moonstone. So this pick is just, or maybe the build has changed, but no matter what, she's still going to be hyper relevant in keeping the team alive. And what CLG can fight for is kind of what Keel just did, or pardon, what they just did to RJS, which is having level 6 and just ganking anyone who doesn't have flash. That ought to work. You can tower dive many of these picks as you have so much crowd control, but he just now hit level 6, so he has been a little bit slower, despite actually having been first to level 4 as they first met in the bot lane.
It's that play where they weren't able to make it work mid lane. He's been struggling to be able to clear as fast as NXI, who's just been having a little bit of a faster pace across the map, but better on the dives too, where level 6 immediately mid lane to kill RJS. Now you see that Keel's trying to make a play like that happen again, trying to see if they are going to be able to get something as they look for Kumo. Easy dive this time around, but NXI in the wings, getting a lot of having to back out. It's going to be a nice play coming in from CLG, unless Triple is able to get a solo kill onto RJS mid lane.
Ooh, lots of damage on this Nocturne already. The Jace does not build any defense just yet, so he's in trouble of a dive if anybody wants to show up into his lane. But I like what we're seeing already out of CLG. So easy it is for them to dive. Finally playing around the Renekton. It's just that with the Fiddlesticks, you kind of tend to wait until level 6. It's not like the Nidalee. You can just crash a wave at level 3 and then deny the enemy top laner from the very beginning he touches the lane.
And with the nice kill for Keel, as well as that assist for Tien in the top lane, it is going to make it so this Wukong is not going to be able to find it is placed on the map for quite some time. No TP to speak of. In fact, I want to see CLG now utilize this lead that they have carved for themselves out in this top lane. TP advantage for Tien. I want to see if they're going to be able to punish Tomo and Diamond in the lane, translate that immediately into Dragon.
I think that they'll be able to fight around Dragon because both teams are so invested in going after this objective. You've got giant AoE spells. They're gonna want to fight for them and use them if they're off cooldown, though. That'll be the critical thing. They have to be available, or else they'll probably just back off and not want to contest each other. Here, the Rift Herald, you just sent too many members out there. Nobody's in place, and it could be a trade. The controller at River will see them.
They might be able to rotate immediately down towards that bottom half of the map, but instead they keep Diamond nearby Kumo just in case. With the fact that they've spotted out the bot side, I'm surprised it isn't that immediate call. Not trying to see if they can contend that, because it's taken a while for Keel to actually start up the Dragon, to be able to actually look for the objective, since nobody was in the yet for CLG.
Well, I think that at least they get the Dragon, though.
Yes,
it is going to be some value for it, but I think this Rift Herald, it's often just a stronger objective, because how many of the games have we seen today? They don't come down to the soul. Some teams get it, but really it's been decided so much earlier, and part of it is because of the gold value. Here he's trying to clear the minion wave.
Gonna be able to have get all the ults on the poor Tien. Man, they made sure to pile everything on top of the Croc and kill him as RJS losing the 1v1 fight to Kumo.
That is giant. They commit 4 members top. Didn't even need the Nocturne ultimate. Got no assist from that. And then you get a freebie onto the Jays on the mid lane. That's just everything for FlyQuest and nothing for CLG. Kumo is not going to be scared of this one. Fiddlesticks is just not even close to comboing onto this. He had flash if it was necessary. That is a big advantage on the side of FlyQuest that CLG just struggling to answer, because they need to make plays around Fiddlesticks. Nobody else on the team can really combo, and they're not doing that.
And you look at this, and it's just so mean. Poor Tien. How many ults is that? We already saw there's Encore, there's the Equalizer, and there's the Paranoia.
He knew he had a choice. He could either back off and concede the wave, or clear it and die. And, well, he valued the gold, so I like a man who knows his priorities. And so he went in there, knew what he was getting into, and didn't get out alive.
Well, there was no way to get out of that one, unfortunately. And then, like you mentioned, the mid lane play is the icing on the cake for CLG Academy, where it all goes so poorly, losing out on everything across the map and not getting a single thing. Now, the Dragon was long since taken. They got a couple plates in the bot lane, but that's consolation prize at this moment, because you lost the full turret top lane. There's now the plates mid lane that were lost out to Kumo when he was able to push, and now you have wards deep inside of your jungle, so Keel's not going to find those creative flanks.
And poor Keel, that is who needs to be escorted around, and it's these killing of turrets that make it so much easier for FlyQuest to know where the Fiddlesticks is coming from. The topside angles have diminished. There's less map for him to play through, and so his ulti position becomes that much more obvious, and an obvious Fiddlesticks is one that doesn't work. Fright is so reliant on the element of surprise, and if you just see him coming the whole way through, then, well, just back off, just flash away. Don't give him the distance to gap close.
Currently, FlyQuest Academy playing this one pretty safe, even with a lot of those early plays where they're able to find these massive advantages. they don't need to really press any issues. They've gotten it where they're forcing back CLG. They're starving them from being able to take many of their own jungle camps, pushing mid lane, trying to funnel as much gold as humanly possible into Diamond, because that's the actual carry, not Tomo. We see the 3-0. That's how support works, right?
At least this support, for sure. The Seraphine can be the carry.
What about last game? Diamond got a lot of kills last game, too. I feel like Diamond's the real carry.
Well, if you can have a support that your team plays around, that actually can revolutionize the meta and maybe can incentivize us to see more of these carry supports, because we have those days of the Tahm Kench and Senna that really puts the whole dynamic into question. So yeah, Diamond can be the carry on whatever he's picking.
I'm talking like Bygar support. Brand support. I get the kills. That's what I want to see if we're talking revolutionary. I don't see 4 and Senna Tahm Kench. Unless it's attack speed Tahm Kench. Then maybe I want to see that.
Attack speed Halo Blades got nerfed. I think if it didn't get nerfed, we could have seen it. Right now, it's too big of a nerf to justify, sadly.
You're right. Well, maybe soon. We'll have to petition Riot for a buff on the Halo Blades just so we can get attack speed. Right now, Ian's going to be able to get himself a little bit of gold back. Try to see if they can at least have this Croc be in a better position. He's already got the Core Drinker completed. And when he joins in these team fights, it's going to be a lot much more difficult to actually burst him until we see some of these grievous wounds picked up by members of FlyQuest. I'd imagine probably soon you'll see Tomo grab onto that Executioner's Calling just to make it that much easier to be able to kill both Keel and Tian.
And the beautiful thing about these healing reduction items is that, well, you actually have a great member that can take all of these, and it is the super carry of Seraphine, because she can just get a Chemtech Putrefier, and that will just do the job. Nobody else actually needs to get one.
That is fair. Chemtech Putrefier is one of those items that I liked at first, and then they changed to be more supportive, and then it became busted. And then it was like Imperial Mandate, where I loved it when it first came out. Then it got a little bit of a buff, then it became way too strong, and then they nerfed it, and now it's useless.
Well, it had a cool name. That's what we can count on. Because half the time, we play, we buy it, we build things out of habit, and the habit here is going to be see if we can catch Kumo. He's got Flash.
I'm trying to get over. Uses the Cyclone, but doesn't have very much mana with the Flash. Will be able to at least dodge away from RJS and survive, but that is Flash and Cyclone, both pure Crowstorm.
Yeah, not a big deal though, because he's not going to need that flash up. The dragon hasn't been fought for. It's already been taken, so he doesn't need to use this spell anytime soon. He can just hold it, and he'll have it available for this next fight. So here comes Seraphine, huge ult.
Double encore on to Katsuri. Barely alive on the other side as Hooks now taking the brunt of the damage. Chased down by Tomo and Diamond underneath the turret, but it's going to be the Killer Instinct looking for the kill on Diamond. Still alive, barely hanging on with the help of the heal from Tomo.
Very close there from CLG to maybe get something back with the exhaust. Okay.
I saw the mini-map. RJS was on the other side. I thought he was going to be able to get the snipe, but now he has to flash away with the Equalizer, doing so much damage onto the poor man. Keel as well was able to get the fear, but followed up by his own fear as he's golden, and then killed off with at least a trade. He took one down in the grave with him.
They got one kill, and here comes Thien to answer back. It's an angry crocodile. The Fury will fade, though, so he does have Flash.
Wukong's nearby.
I don't know if he can do this.
Trying to jump on top. Diamond will be able to get the shutdown at least, but now that Kumo's here, the damage back will be able to take the kill onto Mr. Crocodile Man with some beef on the side. Flashed away. Flash reciprocated by two members to get a killing spree out of Triple.
He wanted the shutdown. That's what he set his eyes on, and he got it. Burned the Flash forward, but at least he gets some gold in his pocket. Yet still, FlyQuest get the advantage and the objectives out of this fight. And I want to highlight what Triple just did in that fight, because that was a pretty cool way to teleport. He pressed the ultimate, the Paranoia, and then teleported. But because Paranoia's cooldown, the time that it gives you for choosing your targets is longer than the teleport channel, he now appears, right? Paranoia goes down, then the TP, and then he appears, doesn't have to cast it, and instantly jump onto the target and get even more kills. The fear from the Fiddlesticks at the end is enough to actually take down the Rumble with the powered up turret shots, but the Renekton is really the one who's looking to avenge his fallen comrades here.
He wants it so bad, but it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I respect that you're trying to at least get a kill back, but at that point, you're just sacrificing yourself. You're throwing your body at them, like here, where we see a nice throwing of your own body by Keel to be able to pick up the kill onto Diamond.
That's the kind of play we want to see from the Fiddlesticks. Over-the-wall ultimates that just catch unsuspecting members off. Looking for the Nocturne, but he's got Spell Shield. Just burned it.
Yes.
I think he'll be fine.
Should be fine, and it is going to be the Rift Herald taken down mid lane. Not quite enough to be able to crack that tier 1, but that is still a good amount of pressure picked back up by CLG, isn't it? Getting more kills onto this Fiddlesticks and also taking down the support so you can maybe next time rinse and repeat and take that structure down.
They needed that. They needed to catch a break because it was getting out of hand. FlyQuest continues to dictate the pace of the game, and CLG is just responding. They are not leading this dance, so FlyQuest is more than happy to do so because it hasn't even gotten to that critical stage where the Seraphine just keeps everybody alive through the fight. We've only just seen the beginning of the Seraphine story, and it only gets more dire for the opposition the later the game goes.
As at the moment, at least FlyQuest are starting to put more pressure back on it to the vision inside of CLG. I've been waiting to see what the side of CLG is going to do to answer besides getting this gold back onto Keel, because you look at RJS, just has not been able to do too much. He's sitting 0-4 at the moment. There's so much that had been placed to make sure they can put him behind early, and usually after that you want a team to try to see if they can help pick him up, help get him a little bit more gold. But at the moment, RGS just hasn't been able to get anything from his team.
It's really part of the problem in the build, too, because you're building a champion that relies on lethality. So the lethality relies on you having low armor, but because you're falling behind, you're now behind in levels, and so the enemies with having higher levels have higher armor, as that is a defensive stat that scales, and suddenly you're actually dealing much less damage than if you were to be building something that relies on armor penetration. So this is going to put RJS really deep in the tank, and his poke is going to be pretty negligible unless he can find it onto Tomo in combination with somebody else. The rest of the squad is going to have an easy time surviving it.
I was really hoping CLG Academy were going to try to bum rush that Baron. Look at all the vision control they have around it. They knew the dragon was being taken. They had all the members here on the top side of the map, and I felt like maybe they could have bursted it down quickly enough, but they felt a little unconfident in that fight, and they decided to back off of that one instead.
They maybe had some time, but when you're dealing with the Nocturne, with the Rumble, even the Seraphine and Wukong in the pit, pretty much everybody, there's so much AoE. If you get caught in that pit, you're dead. You're just not going to make it out. And a big problem of it is that you're going to need Keel to actually be attacking the Baron to beat that. But here comes another fight. This looks good. This looks good.
I like this. I like this. They have no idea. Keel. Okay, Keel don't get spotted. Oh, they don't have... Tien doesn't have TP. He didn't have TP for that one. It looked like a good pixel brush setup by CLG, but only now is Tien going to be able to have that. So now they're trying to see if they can make the fight happen with huge amount of burst, takes him down, and then they immediately get the Cyclone onto RJS. 5th death of the game. Tien trying to stand this to be able to survive with the Gore Drinker, but he's only slicing and dicing with the shields to be able to get a little bit of distance away from FlyQuest. Feared up and killed off. Again, triple on a rampage. 2 surviving members of CLG Academy can't do much because you know where the Baron is going to be in the minds of FlyQuest. It's at the top.
That was the last stand for CLG. They tried to make a fight. They had everybody grouped up, but FlyQuest sniffed it out. They saw what was happening. They suspected, hey, we just saw them at Baron. It looks like a bait. We see a few members. We don't know where the Alistar is. Just back off. Don't clump up. And so when CLG engages, it's not going to be coordinated. They didn't have multiple targets to go after. The Alistar punts a few members here. Keel has the Proto Belt, Flash, and ult with the Predator boots in, and it's still not in range. They have to go in so deep that the FlyQuest dive comp can then have such an easy time taking down RJS for the 5th time. The Kaisa just has to put tail between her legs, run away with the Alistar. It was not close because the setup was not ideal for CLG.
all, and that free Baron for all 5 members of FlyQuest Academy. After that, they are in a prime position to keep pushing back in CLG towards their base, make it so that they're going to get nothing on this map. It's still 2 minutes and a half until the dragon spawns. That's why FlyQuest are waiting for the minions, trying to see if they can set up each of these lanes in a spot where they're going to be able to take and crack down a lot of these turrets to get the gold necessary to really end the game.
Yeah, I think they have it now already too. Even though it's 6,000 gold, with how decisive they can win these fights, as long as Keel doesn't get a fat ultimate, it really should just be 1-1 team fight, and if it's close to the base, they will win the game. The sustain from the Seraphine will be enough to allow them to go for these dives if they play around the turret damage carefully. It looks like so far the poke just is not doing anything. Let's see that Seraphine heal.
There it is. Looking for Diamond, looking to kill him immediately. No more Seraphine, but they've now got one to go golden. That's Keel, but the hooks dives first, and then Keel follows up with Tian, trying in the middle of everyone, trying to take Tomo with them into the grave. Still alive the entire time. RJS trying to see if they can help out Ketsuri, but could not do it. The Bash Quartet in the top lane, going to be able to take down another fight. Might not have been clean, but it's still an ace from FlyQuest.
FlyQuest is just too strong right now, and look at the death timers. 18 seconds on Keel. He won't have ultimate, but they could try to go for more. I don't think they can get the game here. Doesn't really look like it, but maybe 2 inhibitors. Yep, they're pathing to the top side. This should be a very big value from the Baron on the side of FlyQuest, and it was CLG who started that fight. They thought they'd be able to get them. They killed Seraphine instantly, yet still they weren't able to come up with the win.
Just not enough just yet, though. If they can get this pick onto triple with the equalizer disengaging them, that would have been huge. Taking out the Nocturne, getting the shutdown gold, but they fall just shy of being able to do so. So now their base completely in ruin. CLG Academy. We take a look at this replay, and like you said, it was them who started it all.
Good exhaust there from Diamond to stop down the Fiddlesticks from immediately bursting them down, but then when they have to flash away, it gets so difficult for the rest of the team to follow up onto the end. You almost wish they were there a little bit sooner. They get a little bit too close to these melee champions, but they have gap closers. It wasn't going to be that easy, and it's not like it was very close. Wukong and Nocturne were very healthy towards the end of that fight, so I think they still would have managed to come out victorious on that fight, even if Katsuri and RJS played it perfectly.
I think you're right. I think it's just too much of a lead now for FlyQuest, for CLG to overcome and to be able to pass it over. With how far behind so many of their members are, even Katsuri sitting 2-1, it's just not enough compared to all that assist gold that has been put into Tomo, plus the plate gold that we saw from the Rift Heralds, that's keeping the Xayah so far ahead and in a great position to be able to help carry with the rest of the members, because on FlyQuest, who do you really focus? Seraphine? You saw what happened last time.
Yeah, you peel. You don't focus anyone. You don't have the luxury of picking your targets. You pick whoever on FlyQuest has given themselves to you. Oh, he popped ultimate already. They are going in.
And Predator has been popped as well. They look like they found Tomo, but he's got the Feather Sword and the Encore with the backline dive, trying to get the killer instinct to take down Tomo. Katsuri is still kiting it back, going to be able to get a double kill for the team. All the while, RJS still not a part of it. Katsuri trying to be able to get away. Still, he keeps kiting back the flash in from Triple to take him down. The fear on Akumo. He dives back in. Cyclone damage. He's going to be able to get a 4-man knockup, but now he's rooted in place, shut down by RJS.
That was the fight that CLG needed. They found it. The TP from Tien in the backside was huge. They had 3 people corralled. They had everything they wanted for it. And they immediately got Tomo to ult. They saved the Nexus turret. That's big.
Oh, barely. 24 health. They got down to 24 health there, Crumbs.
That bad boy is going to regen back up. They're going to be able to protect themselves. And with Baron up in 1 minute, they're slowly putting some more money in their pockets. And this matters. This really does matter, because this Kai'Sa is already at 3 items. That's the same damage that Tomo is pumping out.
That is huge to be able to get that, to be able to get those kills onto Katsuri, be able to get, I think it was one shutdown at least picked up by this Kaisa, now sitting on that Infinity Edge, having the exact same items as Tomo across the map, who has funneled a lot of that plate gold that we had just talked about, but also the fact that RJS was able to get a kill in this one, I think is big for CLG, as they were the ones to start off the fight yet again.
The Wukong and the Nocturne a bit too late on this one, and so when they jump the Kaisa, this is why she's so good against dive and with dive compositions. Can escape the Nocturne very quickly, force him to burn his flash at the very end, and then CLG, yeah, they're able to kill out the Wukong, but they just didn't want to risk anything more. Maybe they could have gone for NXI if they checked every single brush, but they were happy with that fight. They're glad that they're still in this game and have another chance at winning this game, but Baron is up in the tables. They have no vision around it. FlyQuest could just start this. They're going to go for it now. Get spotted.
There's the TP for Triple. He can always join in and utilize that comp. It is going to be the peel back coming in from FlyQuest. CLG might be able to find a great fight if they can corral all the members of FlyQuest into a tight corridor, have that huge Crow Storm. Now that he's got Oblivion Orb built up as well, Heal is going to make sure that nobody is going to be able to survive the help of, with the help of Diamond in these fights.
Yeah, the Fiddlesticks is going to be incredibly important. Even though in that last fight, he didn't seem to be that valuable, they had a big numbers advantage. Here, where FlyQuest will expect it, he needs to just find the ultimate. It's just, it has to be the way that you play the Fiddles. You need to get a good engage off. Nocturne, though, is unsuspecting on the side. Here we go.
Huge equalizer and the paranoia with Kumo on the other side. That was a massive engage coming in from FlyQuest. Kumo still barely alive, being healed up. Same with Triple, but he's burning to the Ignite. Still does not lose the Guardian's Angel. The fight continues. Tomo trying to be able to kite back with Tian right on top of him with a huge shield double kill for the Croc. Looking for more onto FlyQuest, who are completely forced away from the river.
That's a win for CLG. RJS is 1-7. Like, this doesn't matter that you keep killing the Jace if it makes you lose the other members of your squad that are more important. Tomo, Kumo, these are really valuable picks for FlyQuest. Them being traded over for RJS is not good. This Baron is going to be started. Bills doesn't have the ultimate backup, but they will regenerate off this Baron.
They will, but they got to be careful. It's a 3v3 fight. Here's the TP in from RJS, trying to be able to join the rest of the members of CLG, keeping FlyQuest at bay, because it is still some time until Kumo is going to be back up. By the time he's up, he might be able to have that TP and be able to join in if anything were to break out.
They're choosing not to go for any Baron anymore because the soul is up, but they have not a lot of vision. It's only double control wars on the side of Hooks, so they have to march him first.
They got the TP in from Tian. He wants to be able to engage this. Tomo is still not there. Neither is Kumo. They're still pathing the entire way down. CLG Academy don't want to let them have the Cloud Soul with ease. Even if it's only the Cloud Soul, it is still a big thing for FlyQuest to be able to completely run them around the map.
They've won 2 fights, so they feel confident that they can continue to stand up to FlyQuest. Here we go.
Kumo looks like he's caught out, but it's going to be the paranoia and a huge Crow Storm into the back line, but they've got him dead in the dirt, and now they're trying to see what else they can get. Tian's still in the thick of it. Tomo now taken down by Katsuri. Same with Diamond, barely hanging on. Finally, he sliced away. Katsuri's still kiting back. Katsuri's still alive. Katsuri is the one to keep the fight going. Even with Triple responding with the help of the Guardian's Angel, he cannot fight against Tian. This man is huge at the moment. Will be able to get the fear. Katsuri on the other side is still alive. And again, CLG Academy win another fight.
That was a clutch. That's 3 in a row. They're going to get this dragon for sure. Kumo might be thinking about flashing in. Oh, he got him.
He wants it, yes. He needs to make sure they get Katsuri. That man was alive for way too damn long. He might be able to 1v3. Double kill coming in from Kumo. Tian trying to be able to get away, but Wukong, he's the Monkey King, my man. He is on the hunt. He is on the chase. You're burning. You're still alive. And the TP in the base. Kumo, you just going to go for the end?
He's got a Nexus turret at least. Oh my, wait, okay, no, they can't end it here. Jace is up.
Kuma wants it though. He's got triple in the wings just in case with the paranoia shock blast and in an engage onto RJS. They sure as hell can end this game. Crumbs, look at that engage coming in from them. They're diving kill. Fear or not, double kill goes over to triple and FlyQuest. Finally now, with the minions in tow, they should be able to end this game. It was a lot of chaotic fighting here in the later stages of the game. Wait, they're not done? They're not done?
They're waiting for the team. They're waiting for the team. They want to be all in the picture.
It's a family picture here. They all want to be together. They're getting healed up. They've got another engage coming in from Kumo. Huge heal as well. Hooks is going to be silenced by Tomo. Katsuri tries to get the killer instinct away. He's barely alive underneath with an equalizer to burst out the Guardian's Angels. Minions not going to let them get the kill, I don't think, because it's game over, 2-0 for FlyQuest.
Kumo is my MVP. This man had a phenomenal 2 games. The Lee Sin was on point, and the Wukong at the end, that just saved the game. He clutched it so hard. Solo kills, lane kills, team fighting, TPs, backdoor, shot calls. He had it all this series.
It was wild out of Kumo in this series. Honestly, putting on a showcase in the top lane. And like you said, that game was starting to fall out of their control. They were starting to lose a lot of these fights. Had it not been for Kumo 1v3 at the end there, CLG might have been able to claw back a victory.
Yeah, it was really close because they wanted that dragon so badly. They wanted to deny it. They're gonna look at that tape and just think of so many different ways to have played that one out. But FlyQuest recognized that it was slipping away and doubled down on their grip. Clutch players are so important. And the fact that we're seeing clutchness already shine at the beginning of the split is so critical for the development of that skill towards playoffs. Just to know where everything falls on you, you need to make the play. Nobody else is telling you how to do it. Kumo's found it 2 games in a row, and we're going to start this off with the Baron fight that CLG kind of fumbled because it was not as coordinated as it should have between Alistar and Fiddlesticks.
Right, it was so much that Keel had to do to try to be able to engage that, and by the time he got near the team, he was nearly dead.
Yeah, by the time he got there, the Fiddlesticks ultimate was pretty much half out of the duration. And he's not strong enough that he can actually kill them with just half of it. You need the full channel for the most part to do all the work when you're this far behind it. This is where it looked like it was even better than the last time, a bit more coordinated. You take down the Seraphine, the Alistar dies in exchange, but the Renekton is in the backline, who, by the way, was very strong this game. TN was so close. If the team was maybe a little bit less behind, he would have been able to just be 1v3ing just like Kumo did this whole time. But at the end of the day, that's not how the cards played out. The Wukong was just so much stronger.
This is the big fight where it seemed like CLG got so much. Katsuri getting the 2 kills in this one, it being a 2 for 3 when they're down as much gold as they were. And this is where it started to seem like maybe FlyQuest had fumbled the ball. They were the ones now losing on all these fights.
This was the one play, like you said, right? This is where it looked like FlyQuest had fumbled because CLG found the avenue with the teleport. And I think this is where it started to look even better, where Kumo and Triple committed for RJS, who was already killed so many times, not worth much gold. Trading 1 for 1 this late in the game was just not worth it. And even though Renekton does get the kill at the very end here, that is just a big win for CLG that unfortunately was not able to be converted into an objective. And I think this is going to be the final fight that actually ended up in being a ginormous chain of events that led to the game ending.
And keep an eye on Katsuri and how he positions in this fight, because it seems like there's so much thrown to try to be able to get these carries, try to see if pick him like Katsuri, but he kites back so amazingly well.
Diamond's ultimate is just nuts. How many times has he hit somebody and it ends up just threading the needle and hitting the Kaisa? We're not going to get to see it. It was too long. That fight started and ended here, right? That was a minute or 2 of just team fighting around an objective that finally ended in the game ending for the side of FlyQuest. And oddly enough, for how action-packed this was, it's only 3 minutes longer than our average games of the day that have been 30 minutes.
it felt so much more like it felt so much longer just because the first 20 minutes was it was good gameplay or a little bit more passive. But then once we hit like 27 minutes, it was non-stop fight over and over again. Throw your face and your body at the enemy and see what happens.
Just see what sticks. A true artist galore there. Just, oh, we don't know what we're making today. Just keep throwing out there. We still haven't lost. We don't know what to do. But sometimes that worked because they caught FlyQuest off guard. They were just too strong at the very end, right? Just a little bit too strong and a bit too clutch on the side of Kumo.
Kumo, God, this is definitely his series today, wasn't it? And it's not like Tien played poorly. Tien was doing great throughout the series as well. Just Kumo was one step better.
Yeah, he was a bit better. Some would say the team diff, but the rest of the team did struggle. Made it a lot easier for the Wukong to shine. But Tien had some very strong Renekton play. I think towards the end, you really saw how powerful he was. If he just had somebody else that could combine with him, the Renekton with the Fiddlesticks together really would have made a solid team fight. But they just were never quite able to get that combo as crisp as you would have liked to see it.
I think that was the big problem for CLG throughout that series. It just felt like they weren't on the same wavelength. They weren't really having the perfect communication that you'd want to see out of them, especially after Proving Grounds, when it seemed like at the beginning of the spring split, they had these similar communication errors. It took them some time to be able to get through the growing pains, but once it came to Proving Grounds, it seemed like they were all with one another. They all had this great communication. We're all working so well off of the other. But here it feels like it's all falling apart yet again.
And on the one hand, you could say, oh, was it the paranoia? Is Nocturne that strong? Is that why he's getting banned so much, where the ultimate makes it so difficult to coordinate your engages? Well, on the other hand, it's actually just difficult to coordinate abilities that aren't so easy to have a Q for. That's why Rumble, Nautilus are so easy and look so good and so coordinated, because, all right, when they get knocked up, you press ultimate and that's it. Versus when does the Fiddlesticks find the avenue for the Alistar? It's not as obvious. You have to be looking at multiple things. There's not a single cue that tells you when to go in. You have to time it better with your own abilities than their own. And it's those little things that then add up to maybe a second difference in the engage. And when your spell lasts just a few seconds of damage and you need all of it, that little bit of extra hiccup can make all the difference between the engage that wins you the fight and the one that loses you multiple members and the objective.
We also got to see with this one. So not only, Fiddlesticks is hard when you're not able to get the full brunt of damage, but when a Fiddlesticks is behind, it's harder to find those creative angles, isn't it? To be able to get that ult to really work out. You saw how far away Keel had to be if you wanted to be slightly creative at all, and by doing so, it just made, like you said, you lost so much damage on the way there.
Because he's not scary. He's just not scary at all when you're so
I wasn't
weak.
Surprised.
Right?
Yeah, it's one of those like surprise parties like you see coming a mile away, and so you get there and everyone's surprised. You're like, oh yeah, oh I'm you got me, guys.
Yes, that's exactly it. I was not surprised. We saw it coming. Someone spoiled it along the way. We knew what would happen.
Yeah, but you know what? We got Diamond here for our Verizon post-game interview. Diamond, my boy, it is good to see you and get to talk to you once again. Congratulations on the victory. And I'm going to say this because I always say this to you when I first talk to you. Unfortunately, no Thresh games, was there?
Yeah, they paid the tax for once. There has to be like one team at least that pays the tax. But I'm looking forward to one team to fire their coach because they didn't ban Thresh.
Now, what do you make of the support meta, dude? You are playing something that nobody else has busted out, the Seraphine. Is she's still a really good support or what? Because Nautilus was dominating all day long, and then you just didn't want to play that.
Honestly, I cannot run my champ. I didn't play built up my champs in so long in scrims, so I first time built up my champs today. It was a great time.
Okay.
You know what? Respect, Diamond. Respect. Though I will say, your Rakan, it maybe seemed like you had a little bit of rest at the beginning, but towards the end of that game, you were on point with those engages. I gotta say, it was great to see from you, and you kind of already answered one question. It's like not getting as much practice on some of these champions, but I want to know about practice with the team and how things have been going this way, because you guys all seem like you're all through so many of these fights.
Bro, I haven't scrimmed like I don't know like what happened, but like we were
What?
trying to scrim some amateur team and like some academy team, but like everyone canceled on us. Like I don't know what happened, but like we got monster griefed in the schedule, and I think we had like 2 days of scrims like total in like 2 weeks. And, like we were just playing solo queue because every single team was just canceling. Like amateur teams and some academy teams were just like running it down. It's like it was completely merciless, and that's why we kind of had to like play some new champs. You know, like guys, I don't know what to pick in the draft. I was like, yeah, Seraphine. She's fun. I'll play some Seraphine. You know, I was like Rakan. Yeah, I played that before. Play some Rakan. Just chilling.
So you're telling me you guys just had minimal practice before today and still showed up?
Yeah, well, if anyone read my Twitter like recently, I had an incident yesterday of a player clogging the toilet and kept flushing his toilet over and over until he flooded his apartment, and then we lost a scrim off of that. So I won't name the player, but that's impressive to say the least.
All right, hang on. Can you name the league? Is it LCS Amateur Academy? I think
It's
that's enough.
Academy, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But you know what? It doesn't matter without practice. You guys definitely seemed on point with this one. And I can only imagine with more practice, you guys are going to be easily at the top of the academy. So looking at the rest of the split and how, so you and I haven't really gotten to talk about the changes that came in the past. But what are your thoughts on how they've changed academy with Proving Grounds added in?
I'm not sure honestly. I think like the level in academy like went down a lot compared to when I was playing academy. It's like for the 6 months period I wasn't playing, obviously, but like I think the level went down because I think most of the really good talent went to LCS teams. So like I think it's expected that some amateur teams would take over and beat teams, but I've never lost academy the past year, so I don't plan to lose to anyone. So it's just the way it is, you know. So I don't really care. I just show up and I play, and it is what it is. I didn't have like the best of games today, but once I get I play champions that I played before, we'll be good. And some scrims as well.
All right.
That'd be great too.
Right. This is the uncharged, unpracticed Diamond.
Yeah.
What do you make about best of two? Best of twos, right? I mean, it's only one game, right? We don't really know, but did you like it? Does it feel better than just showing up and playing a single game?
Yeah, I think it's better, but I mean, it felt bad like some days to like, for example, like if we had the same schedule where we were the last game right at 5 p.m., we're just like oinking for the entire day, and then we play one game, and that's just your day, you know. Like we have a match, we play one game, and like we wake up at like 11, and then we play a game at like 5, and that's your day. Like this is competition for you, but like now we had 2 games, like it feels like a bit more like an actual like competition more than anything. Because I remember like we just get up and the academy is like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the day of scrims today. We're gonna have a warm up and play one game, and that's it. It's like, sheesh, that's a great time. But now it feels like more like actual practice, you know.
Well, it's clearly don't need scrims. You obviously are just on point. Today was great, and just looking at like you said, you're expecting to like in your mind, you're here to dominate. You're here to win academy, full stop. And I, having casted you before and working with you, I know that you have dominated academy for quite some time. How does it feel with this roster, with this team and FlyQuest to try to see if you can regain that title?
Well, people might not know, but when I played academy the first year, I had like a roster full of veterans, and I lost actually. And we had like an insane roster where we ended scrims at 3 p.m. every day. So like we played like we 15-minute every team that we played against for a full year, and we managed to lose in playoffs. And then the second year, we actually had a roster with a bunch of like rookies or like untested players. I think me and Palafox were actually the only players that were like tested into the academy kind of. So like last year, we took a roster that many people like didn't like rank that high, right? And I was one of the pieces in that roster that kept it together. So I tend to do the same thing with just like transcend my philosophy of playing. We usually like C9 is known as like a team that like likes to fight a lot, C9 Academy. So I'm trying to transcend that into all the teams that I play on, and I have my C9 boys over. So I got Kumo and I got Tomo. So we're looking to be the same dominant team that we were before, and I'm just trying to help my players around, you know. So that's my job. I'm kind of a raid leader. I just give +1 attack into my boys, and we try to fight some people. That's all it goes.
I feel like you're a bit more than that. You did that today. Congratulations on your
Maybe I'm a Stormwind
0
champion.
victory. Hey, you know what? One day you'll be able to play Thresh. One day you'll be able to get it. We'll see. Foolish enough to let that through. But thank you so much for joining us for the interview today. It was great talking to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sheesh.
There he goes on the way out, Diamond. It was great to talk with him, and it was a great day of games today, Crumbs, wasn't it? We had, even if I think every single series was 2-0 victories for whoever were the winners of them. It was awesome to be back here for Academy, to be able to experience the first day with you, and on our way out, any wrapping up thoughts that you want to throw out to everyone while we still got them?
It was awesome. I think I really enjoy the player interviews that we have at the end. Just such a relaxed environment. Just talk to them about it, and Diamond's response. Oh, I just spent the day oinking. I had not heard that before. That I'm gonna use that one from now on.
I love working with Diamond and Kumo back in the day was always a blast. They were always great lads to be a part of, and you know. Looking at today, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun League of Legends, even if I had some unfortunate audio issues on my end. Apologies on that. Hopefully be able to get them fixed for tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we'll have more Academy action here on this channel, as well as on the secondary channel at Nerd Street LOL. I believe tomorrow on this one, it's going to be both Kangas and Cubby. They've got Cloud9 Academy, 100 Thieves Academy, Dignitas Academy versus FlyQuest Academy, and then Immortals Academy versus Golden Guardians Academy. That's a lot of, it's a great way to start off a season, isn't it? We got a lot of awesome teams playing already.
I just love the best of twos. I think that the change is going to be very exciting. It's going to improve the league. I know it's just more games. It's just more reps. You put the reps in, you get the results.
I agree. It's a lot more to be able to enjoy here on Academy. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Make sure you tune in back tomorrow for some more Academy action. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.